All hail Mother Orsic. Big love, amor, love without death to Mama Maria, the one and only. As I am recording this day, which is October 13th. And call it what it is, what it shall be, because it always was. Now think about it. Did I say that right? If we are in a simulation, what is yesterday what you were saying, what shall be. And in your heart of hearts, you knew it was because it always was fixed in simulated time and space. And as Lou said, is there any other nowadays? And with that introduction, I really want you and I to Maria member, Maria cover, and Maria turn. Because why do I chant Mother's name so often with such fervor? Not a word I use much, because let me say it like this, since August, Lionsgate in the middle of Leo, and it began on July 23rd, the beginning, the pulling back of the curtain, the veil, the unveiling to me, who's a Leo, Yeah, all those things. You could say, well, you're just so self-centered. And Maria would say, no, sun-centered. Right, son? And we would laugh because words are funny in the right context, in the right perspective, in the flowing like a river perception, which reminds me that I love this line that was gifted to me by songwriting brother partner, and it's a world in and of its own. The song is called No Use Praying to Your online gods. And the very important line of the chorus is, stop making perception your priority. That makes you unteachable. It makes you boring. Especially in an, computer holographic simulation built for you to enjoy yourself, if you can say that, for me and people like us, the essential initiation process, which means there's no other way to get there. Where, Joe? Where are you talking about? And I realize I say a lot of things one time, but as Maria would say, there's no use saying it any more times. Usually. To everything. There is an exception to everything. In nature, look. Open your eyes. Stop looking at the TikTok lies in front of you. The Instaligrams about the hologram, the reality that you live in, the unreality that we are all living in. And October 13th, last night, Mother was dressed in a most lovely purple pantsuit. Very soft, lovely material. Nice jacket as she likes down to her thighs. Kind of 80s-ish, kind of Asian-ish. And yet very Maria-ish. In our first song, by request of Lou, was Holy War by Lords of the New Church, because that is the sad fact of the war we are witnessing with our own eyes. And in all truth and reality, there is absolutely no hope of a future for people like us. And there is a polarity, contradiction, and friction that took me a few minutes to notice way back on 10/5/2023. Because those of you who are going through some sort of astral initiation, which I know is not common, but you will see the logic in your teachers' preludes previews, setups for the non-existent, existent, unchangeable change. And that is a fancy way of saying you're in a simulation where things can be different than the restrictive physical reality which you exist in, with millions of years from today's date. In the future, you are from the future, and you are from Venus, because in the distant past, people like us blew up the whole world, and you're seeing right now the prelude and setup to that event right now. And that's why I say we have absolutely no hope of a future for people like us, because this is a fake war of a fake but very painful and real holy war in the minds of the brain damaged, spoiled, rotten, fireless minds of Western mankind, which has definitely cut off the arms and legs of true women and made them slaves to stupid ass cleaning and cooking. For real. Stupid ass. Anyone whose priority is clothes and food is because they're non-spiritual, because their energy is low and it's down at the unmagical, immagical, amagical level of I feel good knowing I have a lot of food, like a bear or a dog or something, and a nice warm place, and don't bother me with who had to die. So that because a middleman wanted 75%. But logic says you're weak because you let them steal from you to harm people like you, but could enforce enough fear, or you could say project enough fear to keep the actual practical solution unconscious. It's like, what are you talking about? I don't understand what I'm talking about is anyone who allows a phantom under the guise of improving the schools and roads and schools and to take your hard-earned money and use it to kill people in a war of wealth and laughter at all the bodies of the souls that the vultures have gathered to eat and feast upon and in their minds metaphoric of like you're nothing. And my meeting one teary night with Aleister Crowley, I don't believe I ever talked about this, but I came, you might say, I pissed him off enough that he arranged a meeting with me on my back porch with Maria and where lots of threats were thrown at me, and basically I was told the war had now become personal, and it was in his words, not a war of roses, but a war of laughter. He said that, and I'm not playing when I say this. He said because I called him fat and ugly and disgusting, that it had now become personal and that he was going to use some of his power to turn my God's ordained wives against each other, against me, and all the Vril girls. He said, we're going to be harmed or killed in a magic, and threatened me to not dare try to protect them. And this took it to a complete another level. And that was the summer of 2020, the COVID summer, where, and I've never told this story, and I should. On 4th of July, 2020, during the COVID summer, Maria had called me and said, I was out of my body in another world with her, and said to me, I know neither of us even like the word politics, and we don't even fucking care how a country's run except these goddamn principles. Like, neither one of us want to protest, get angry, but like she said, we live on the extremes of these circles. Fuck the middle, the lukewarm. Really, you must go inside and pray to your avatar. Avatar. Your waking self right now. Pray to your true self. God's forbid me. All the power in the universe forbid me from becoming boring, which equals lukewarm, which equals slow in action. It's all about that crucial moment. That is where magic happens, in the timing of nature, of the universe. And like Lou said, one thing about the simulation, it's bulletproof. as far as the laws of nature and the energy of nature. So that summer 2020, in August again, Aleister Crowley made it personal. And that's why I started recording the podcast, which, Maria, I believe it could no more have been the fourth or fifth ritual. And all this is planned in advance, far in advance, to prove she's not bullshitting as a teacher, that she has a plan. It's like a well thought out book, a well written, and it's interesting, artistic, not basic. It's not fucking instructions for a motor. It is art. It's creating from nothing. It's not cooking. It's magic. Like a song like Live for Today or Sympathy for the Devil or Louie Louie or I Wanna Hold Your Hand, all written by Lou, are magic and should never, ever, ever. It's I'm getting angry, but it's really just a test for us who don't live in those energy zones. It's not practical to write a good song. Maybe a commercial jelly roll song or whatever. I've never heard. Who knows? Maybe I know they would never promote someone who's got the guts to stand up for those whose voice cannot be heard, probably because they're smashed under rubble. Huh? Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, your own book. Right? And let me give you a few examples of how these people work. Like I said, I was going to say fourth, fifth ritual, Maria said, hey, I got an idea. This is when she was really teaching me, like, you're in a war with Yahweh, which, full circle, is Aleister Crowley. That's kind of like in the future, a real man saying, I am Darth Vader. And someone stepping in and going, listen, dude, this is a myth that's been, it's for one thing, it's a ridiculous horror movie of a myth. It sucks, but it's a story, and these real people have taken it and have, through millions, hundreds of millions of deaths, have frightened people into believing that it's literally true, that we're, as this is supposedly the American Christian preacher that scared the fuck out of America with his sermon, sinners in the hands of an angry God. But someone forgot to pull him aside and say, hey, dude, your own book says he created our souls, past, present, and future, knows everything we're ever going to do ever. So how the fuck why is he angry? He's angry at himself. He's projecting himself through us, his creation. Who would ever create a song or story and go, hey, you're on your own, characters that don't exist, except through the energy I've created, that's me? Like Maria challenged me, think about this and think about if this was true and the parallels of the truth of this And the manipulated Yahweh lie of this. When you're sleeping at night and you're dreaming and you are dreaming so realistically that no one could ever convince you you're not dreaming. I've had a dream where the person in my dream said to me, "You're dreaming." And I said, "No, I'm not." And he literally said, "Pinch yourself." And I laughed. And people tell me, "Oh, I know there's times I know that's not what I'm talking about then." Listen, please, for once, listen. When you are 100% oblivious to the fact that you are dreaming and you're interacting in sometimes the most intense ways with other people, after realizing this, what I am explaining right now, I had a friend call me and say, "I had a dream about you last night." And I said, "What makes you think it was really me?" What? And she said, "That's good because you weren't acting like you." And I said, "You know who it was?" And she said, "No." And I said, "It was you. Because this is the most likely and logical and only really answer. When you're laying in your bed at night and you're dreaming, there's different types of dreams. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about the most common intense dream that you do remember some of. Okay? I had a dream last night, and you tell the person you worked with. I'm talking about this kind of dream, not life-changing spiritual shit from the fucking gods. I'm not talking about that. Listen to me. When you have one of those dreams, I've dreamed in one dream, I went to bed, lived all day and night, went to bed, woke up, lived all day and night, went to bed. I lived 3 days in one dream, and I woke up and I felt tired. Like I had jet lag because in my dream I was on vacation. And I did feel good, like I had been out in the sun. And this all took place in the matter of 4 hours that I was laying in my bed. And this is common. Or, at least it's very common that in a 4 or 5 span hour time, you have a, full 4 or 5 or 6, 7 hour dream. Of a whole day or a whole situation or a concert or a trip or a hike or something. And think about it, everything in your entire dream, all the people, all the cars, all the nature, the sky, the stars, was all created by you. Of course. You're laying in bed. And you're actually unconscious. So you're creating what a lot of people would call true art. You're not copying anything. You're not using a recipe. Yeah, yes. Cooking is not art to me because you use recipes and people are like, "Oh, but you could make up this is insanity to compare these things." Songs are like Vril food. You cannot, this is polarity switch. This is the mind of the magician contrasted with the mind of the Atlantean slash American slash Israeli New World Order slave who thinks they're a king, a god, all these things. They listen to people like Jordan Peterson. They go to fucking church, even though they're hot for nothing. How could you cannot study the Bible, vow to follow it, and stay lukewarm? It just proves you're a fake person. Many people don't know that Rastafarians have dreadlocks because it is the Nazarite vow from Numbers chapter 6, where it says, like, if you want El Shaddai, one of the gods, to really specifically bless you, do not let razors of any kind come upon your hair, your beard, anything. No sharp knives whatsoever, and very specifically, no alcohol whatsoever, especially wine. No grape products at all. Grapes, alcohol, razors, no. As long as your vow continues. And that's why you see Rastas with very long dreadlocks. And I don't know if I've said this before, but you're in a simulation. So not only would it be double insane in a simulation, but it's insane to think ever that, like, I heard someone literally on a podcast say that Maria Orsic believed that her hair, the actual strands of hair, were magic. And that this is so Christian, so Judaism, Islamic, to take. These guys are so, I think they were CIA, so they're probably posing as so dumb, but they're like, yeah, these people are so dumb, they thought actual power came through their hair like Samson. And they're like, hold it. So you think the Samson story was real? You just referenced, like, yeah, that Bible story was real, and these people are so fucking crazy they think they were like that. Sorry. But, that, for real, that's, I think, like the CIA director says, you could, I hope you understand me when I say it like this. CIA / process church / Scientology / almost all occult commercialized groups, OTO, Golden Dawn, all the shit, Burning Man, all of it, all your pseudo fake magic, always blended with Crowley's Egyptian, Jewish bullshit, right? Always contrasted with that. Did Maria believe that it was her hair producing the experiences she was having out of her body with one of the most historic and famous gods, Lucifer of all time? Or did she know for a fact that the mushrooms that she had taught herself to brew and drink and then drink her own urine were producing an actual reality that she knew everyone longed for but could not find it? And like she said, I followed Lou closely because I really did understand these people aren't from the vibration I'm from. Not everyone is one in practical vibration. And she said, their home isn't my home. That's why they don't understand. And that's why she teaches her children, her students, these mantras: remember, recover, return. And in the light, in the Vril purple light of the Venusian reflection of the sun, we all together say, there's no place like Om. There's no place like Om. There's no place like the place inside you that the mushrooms or the magic plants, nature, will help you find. Don't let the black magicians keep the door locked. Don't let the fake Wicca witches that have cursed you simply because you're good and because you're beautiful, and they're not. Don't let them win. You lose in this world to defeat them in another world, the world that counts, the world inside you. You defeat them by saying, I will give up everything for true love and true happiness. That's Vril.